Truth number one is that Nigeria is not a society for good people. It's not. If you truly want to be a good person, you are going to lose out in our society the way it is today. You have to appear to be a good person, but do what you must. This is Nigeria.
I've always loved loud.
Loud, by loud, are you talking about cannabis?
So my friend Excel loves loud. Like if Excel is in love.
Are you talking about loud music? Are you talking about
loud love.
Oh, loves loud. I thought you meant
in the public eye.
Oh. I thought you were saying loves loud, like cannabis.
No.
No. That's why I started laughing.
No.
But I don't know. Do I love loud? I think I don't know. I don't know how to answer that.
There are different perspectives of like public.
Yeah.
So maybe people in your circles, they know that when this guy is in love, everybody knows it.
Oh, loves loud. Publicly, no, never be me. Never be me.
What changed?
Do you know, I didn't know it was going to be a change when I put out the video. If you look at the video, I made it myself. It was very personal. It was like our own moments. And I thought, on my birthday, I always put up a post or something and people will say happy birthday and the next day people move on. So in my head, I was like, this was going to happen, and it didn't turn out the way I thought it was going to happen. I would still say that I'm still like, we put an announcement out there. I think it's better for people to hear from you rather than, the story to sort of get out there, by itself. And then after that, we've just gone back to our humble lives. Abi?
Yeah.
I think
it's different.
It's not very loud.
It's different.
I do, Abi. Yeah, man, I'm getting older,
No, you're young.
Forever young. The guy. New name alert.
Oh my God. I will get to that later. Let's trace a little bit back, maybe a little further back. Okay, maybe let's even get to the guy. What's the album going to be about?
The album is, and I hesitate because when I'm focused on the topic, I'm very focused on the topic and, study on self, projects like that. But the guy is about Jude. It's about Jude. People know MI. I think at this stage in my life, people are getting to learn who Jude is a little bit more. It happens inevitably. No matter who you are, no matter the avatar you have out there, eventually yourself, your true self will come and will leak out to the world. And I think that's what's happening now. But I really like Jude. I've really been working hard on Jude. I think Jude is cooler than MI. He's the guy. So it's like, you guys thought you liked MI? Wait till you meet the guy behind
so
MI.
What are the difference between Jude and MI?
I think when you're becoming as an artist, you create a lot of rules for yourself. You sort of create, again, back to the word avatar I was using, but you sort of create this framework. See who I go be, see as I go act, see as I go talk, see as I go dress. And after a while, you may come to a point where you want to change and you get that feedback and there starts to be this tension. And after a while, you might make up your mind that I'm just going to be myself, I think it's part of progression and growing up, But as I become more comfortable to share parts of myself and the things I'm interested with, with the world, this album is made. It's MI. It's an MI album. People that know MI when MI makes albums can tell when I make an EP or when I make a tape or a project, or And so even when I was dropping like Jude and all those things, they were like, "We're waiting for your album," And this is the album. The album is here.
How long did it take you to make the album?
From the first song, 4 years. That is the oldest song on the project was recorded 4 years ago.
That's for a different purpose though.
Yeah, different purpose.
Different album.
Yeah.
Young Denzel was meant to be a 3-part project.
Yes.
Are those still coming?
Yes.
How do artists do it though that? So I hear someone is saying, I'm creating that, but it's not, I don't know where to put it yet.
Yeah.
I have this album, but I don't know if I'm going to drop it yet.
Yeah.
How do you compartmentalize like that?
It's not a thing to do. I'm a bad example of.
So people every artist does it. Every artist I've had a conversation with, especially like rappers, very methodical artists, not pop artists. Pop artists, no. Pop artists just do a lot of things and put it out. But maybe rappers, maybe someone like methodical artists, they have moments like that.
Yeah.
I don't know how you compartmentalize that.
Yeah. It's like buying a drop top and it's raining. And you're just like, but you bought the car, why don't you put it out? Why don't you drive it? You're like, yeah, I didn't buy it for the rain. So in the artist's head, it's sort of like that. You're recording a project and you're like, this project will hit when this and this and this align. And so when those things don't align in your head, sometimes it's not the same experience for you. For everybody else in the team, they may be like, oh, we just want the album out, we just want the music out. But the person that's creating it possibly sometimes creates it with a moment in mind or an energy or, some sort of alignment, And I've definitely been prey to that, man. My first album that I ever finished is still not out, the one album. There's songs that are out there, 1 or 2 songs. But I think that my hope is to put it out as my last project. I think that would be.
Then going to be ending as a last project. I think artists just make music.
Yeah, when it's just me and Uduak, the Uduak is the last fan. Uduak is the last fan, I'm like, here you go. 1 copy for my 1 fan.
Yeah. But what was your mind state coming into this album? Or did you surprise yourself at all?
Oh, that's a good question. That's a good question. Did I surprise myself? Let me scan through the album. That's a good question. Yeah. The album surprised me. What I mean by that is that I normally am in control of all the pieces that happen when a project comes together. But this one has 4 moments at least that came to me, not the other way around. That I was just in the right place at the right time. Something fell in my lap, and I was like, it really fell in my lap. I was like, I have to change the album for this. I had to take a song out,
Beat-wise?
1 was a beat, 2 were features, and the other one was, I wouldn't want to say it was a feature, it just came as a song. I just added my parts.
I got it right.
That was it, yeah.
But speaking about that, you have not been producing in a while by yourself.
No. I haven't. People don't even know I produce.
I've always felt that you're a better producer than you're a rapper.
What? You're crazy, man. Yeah. You're crazy.
I've tweeted about it several times.
I'm a terrible producer.
Nah.
Terrible.
Well, that's you. You're just trying to say it for the camera. You know you're not.
I mean, anybody that like Jago would laugh. You should, when you next interview Jesse, ask, say that to him. He will laugh, he will cry, he'll die laughing. So I'm very good with selecting sounds and like figuring stuff out. I think I struggle with like some parts of production compared to like, I'm surrounded by like gods, chopsticks, E. Kelly, Jesse Jaggs. These are guys who are like the best in the best. Reinhard, CK as well. Reinhard is good. He's good. Yeah. So these are the guys that we're producing, producing for us. Beats by Jay, God rest his soul.
Beats by Jay.
So in that crew, I know they.
So I messed with production for a while. So I think I know when someone is a music mind. So it's detail. Detail on harmonies. I think that's what you're good as a producer. So when I say you're better, I think as a rapper I can still point to I don't like that. But the production thing, every time I check the credits and the coin toss. Right? I can know that this is just really good. So if I'm not saying it because I have said it several times.
Appreciate it.
That's what I think. So why have you not? Is it that you fell out of love with it?
It just wasn't my tool when I got into the studio. It just wasn't I did it out of necessity. Jesse was the cash cow for us in Jos. So he was the producer that people came to work with. I would work more on albums, projects, gospel choir, stuff like that. Early on we're just grinding in Jos.
You still play instruments?
Yeah, of course.
Piano?
Yeah. play keys a little bit, play a little guitar, a little bass, a little drums. You know, Jesse's a drummer. You hear it in his production. And yeah, it just wasn't the thing I spent a lot of time on. Maybe, you know, I'm interested in maybe scoring movies or scoring pictures as we go along. Yeah.
So you can't score movies if you don't have a particular mindset. Like you can't hear the emotions in the music. For example, I read an article once that said some people interpret music by seeing colors, like they are human beings like that. And when they see emotions, sounds come to their heads. So you can't be that person without having a really deep music mind. That's how I see it. So, and then you're also a sound engineer. You still engineer sound. Did you mix your own music?
No. This album, I let G+. So Incredible Music, the record label, you know, founded this partnership with Chopsticks and G+. G+, an amazing engineer, has been working with me since Illegal Music 3, and he lives in Jos, just so talented. Producer as well. But his real gift is in being able to take sounds apart and put everything together. You know?
Shout out to G+. Now let's talk about, you're talking about just talking about Incredible Music. Let's take it back a little bit. I had a very wild conversation with Audu Mekore.
Okay.
It's meant to be a 30-minute conversation.
Okay.
It ended up being 3 hours. I don't know what to do with it. It sits on my head, it's on my drive. I had some very interesting stories about you. My girl. Jesus Christ. I never really got that part from you. When you came back from the US, what were you doing exactly?
So I was in school. Came back. Just didn't have the financial muscle to stay on. No, I didn't. Didn't have the financial muscle to stay on in the States at the time. So I came back, trying to reapply for scholarships. You know, Embassy first gave me my first, you won't have to chill. You know, chill for a little bit. And in the few months that followed, I just got a job in Jos. I wasn't even thinking I was going to do music, honestly. It was a hobby. Everyone that knew me knew I loved music, but Jesse and his friends were now like starting to do like the gospel, like churches, the circuit there. So I would just follow them and go along and see. And because I was working, you know, I had a little bit of money, so we ended up working in the studio. It's called Skynet. There should be a movie about this, by the way, because that's
maybe we should do a documentary at some point.
Studios where P Square were recording at the time. They're recording their projects. They just won the show, Talent Hunt, and they were, you know, recording. Oh, the second album after the Talent. They were signed to Timbuktu Music at the time. And I mean, it was just, you know, that's how we started. And before you knew it, I'm working at an internet cafe called Everyone in Jos.
How do you come back from the US and you start working at an internet cafe? Were you frustrated or depressed?
No. Everybody in the US works. That's one of the culture changes. So when I got to the US,
internet cafe in the US, not here.
No, here.
Oh, okay.
So when I got to the US, I saw a friend of mine who's the papa demo, their papa their money, you understand? So my guy is pushing trash. Yo, bro, what we doing? You know what I mean? What's happening? And he's like, yo, everybody here works. You'll get it. And even millionaires' kids have to get a job. You know, it's part of the sense of duty and contributing to society. This little piece of culture change in me, I think, is what gave me a severe leg up when I came back here. Because whereas most other people that came from university were waiting for the perfect job, as soon as I came, I was like, what am I going to be doing? You know, where can I work? And there was this internet cafe, they needed something. I think my first paycheck was $9K, something like that. It's just something to do to keep myself busy. That's why every time I see, like I walk through, you know, whether it's entertainment, you know, offices like this one, and you see young people that have jobs, even people by the gate, people washing toilets, whatever, it's better to have a job, to teach yourself how to work, to teach yourself how to strive and to reach for things than for you to just be at home and dream and hope.
So head of the family, I refer to it a lot of time because of stories I told. And there was another record where you talked about Melege's best in hunger. There was another interview where I saw you say that the first car you bought was an EOD. Was that right?
Yeah, facts.
Head of the family, you brought your brothers to live. Your brothers were, someone said, give me a chance, all of that, right? And since then, it feels like you always try to carry people along. Do you regret some of those things?
Regret is not the word.
Right, first child.
Yeah. I accept today that a few truths. Number one, now before I say this, you have to understand what I mean by good. And what I mean by good is a good person is someone that cares for other people, someone that will sacrifice themselves or their money for other people, or someone that seeks other people's benefit. Okay. Truth number one is that Nigeria is not a society for good people. It's not. If you truly want to be a good person, you are going to lose out in our society the way it is today. You have to appear to be a good person, but do what you must. This is Nigeria, and I accept that. And I also accept that people's opinions don't matter at all. They don't matter at all. I don't know, I said that quietly, but their advice, maybe if they mobilize against you or something like that, but if they think you're trash, they're just like, man, like I walked in here, maybe when I leave, people will be like, whatever the person's opinion is, it doesn't do it has no impact on you. My opinion of Susan and Susan's opinion of me, whatever it is, it means nothing. It doesn't affect her day, it doesn't affect. So that's the second truth. And then the third truth is that you are not in control of the story people will tell about you. So just focus on writing the story you want to write. That's all. Just put your head down and keep writing your story. Don't worry about the rest of it. You're not in control. It's not up to you.
As a label exec though, which you worked for about, you are still a label exec, but you started that journey, say Loopy Records 2011, 10?
2012. I think it was
2011.
Yeah.
How have you been able to, so the balance is sometimes you form a relationship with some of the people that you're assigned to. That's one.
Yeah.
That's something. And as a label exec, you try to do business. So do you regret the fact that some people that you form personal relationships with, do you regret forming personal relationships with some people?
Again, regret is not the word. You don't control the outcome. Let me give you an example. There's an artist that lived with me. And my opinion is that the person dealt with severe trauma when they were young. Severe trauma. What can I do? It doesn't change the fact the person is talented. You know what I'm saying? So you take a gamble, you trust someone, and you know, it's the way life is. So what do? You keep moving. So that's what I mean about saying you don't control that. And it's okay for you not to be in control. It's okay for you not to be in control. Sometimes accidents occur, you know, like coincidences happen, bad things happen to good people, good things happen to bad people. And sort of making yourself like the center of like, just get on with it and do the thing that you're born to do. I think that these are some of the harsh truths, about life. And it's tough to see, because I'll give an example. Davido, my estimation, I'm not as close to him as other people, but my estimation is that he really has a good heart. From looking at him from afar, right? It's that he really has a good heart, and that he really cares about the people around him, wants to see them do well. What am I saying this on? I would say I've heard, again, just listening to it from afar, I've heard some of the kinds of record agreements he's had with artists, right? Would someone in his team maybe have wanted to steal from him before? One of the boys or whatever. Now, the question is the outcome because of his heart?
Because of the person.
But it also is. Because if you were not a kind person, the person wouldn't be in your, you know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. What do you do? Do you stop being a good person? Or are you like, what do you do? I think you accept that the world is not going to be controlled by you, and that you have your values and you try to live by them, and you keep it moving. I'm very proud of my efforts to contribute to the lives of people that I feel responsible for. If that's the way I can answer it. Yeah. The rest of it, I've enjoyed being, I had a moment where I was like, oh, people think I'm a bad guy. And I think I've enjoyed being the villain.
Yeah,
it's more free.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, now if somebody comes for me online, I will stop what I'm doing that day. And go after them. Yeah. And it's more fun. I always didn't do it just because I thought, like, if you've ever been, you know it. If you've ever been like sweet up dog.
I do.
Like, it actually, like,
trust me. People don't know what it is until you're in that position.
Yeah, until you're in the position. Yeah. So I don't like doing it to people. Yeah. I don't like if someone insulted me, I'd like to be like, hey, let's keep it peaceful. Because I know that, I have fans that will like go buy data and like go after you. Yeah. But I think, why not? Again, Nigeria is not a place for good people. If you're quiet all the time, people are going to say, you know what? It's true. We can pick on this person. We can insult the person. The person is.
There's a rumor that I rapped before.
That you rapped before?
Yeah, that's a rumor. That's the thing. So the online space is based on the idea that if people want to believe something about you, there's nothing you can do about it. Bro. There's nothing.
And so accept it. Accept it. When Vector and I were, one of the conversations we're having, I remember one day he looked at me and he was like, it was almost like, but what? It's like maybe somebody said something. Yeah. And I remember that moment because we had this time where we were both talking back over everything that happened and, and I could then see from his perspective and be like, oh, okay, I guess from that perspective, this person, and then again, like, you don't control that as well. You can't control other people's perspectives. You shouldn't even try. Worrying about how, like, don't try. It's better to be thought to be a villain. Everybody knows, stay away from that guy. When you're kind, people will be like, wow.
So you enjoy being a villain right now?
I want to lean into it more. I think the guy should be a villain. Should be terrible, like, like my first stint as CEO, I made sure, like, there's no Chocolate City artist while I was signed that had less than 50% of the mass of their.
That's very generous.
Yeah. And, do you think that those artists go around, like, talk to this and go and tell people, hey, when I was getting my first contract, Emma really made sure that I got a great. Do you think that's what they're saying?
No, people.
That's not what happens at all.
It's a dynamic.
So why don't I take 90%? Yeah. Do you understand? Yeah. They're still gonna talk like the words that are out there about me are as if I took 99%. So why not?
You spoke about stands, right? And I'm very, very strong on stand culture, right?
Against or for?
It's necessary. There's something you can do about it. But I feel like artists have enabled stand culture. Like, by not stepping in when it matters and by using their stands to go after people, they enable the bad behavior and toxicity that we now enjoy, either by direct actions or inactions, especially from the big artists that we currently have. And now people are going to then be pained when stands of other people do something against them, when your own stands have been doing it to other people. So you are creating a culture by actions and inactions, right? And I feel like they are the ones that they are the only people that can control this. People are going to say, oh, that's not possible. But let's try it first. Let's try community building. Let's hire community managers. Let's set some rules, get together with culture and rules of engagement are set. Is it possible? I don't know, but let's try it first. Right? Do you enjoy it when your stands are being really, the things that you can't say online are saying it to people?
There's somebody, that guy is just, oh my God, he's hideous. You know what I'm talking about? No. Someone on the tribe, that whenever somebody disses me or something, he like stop what he's doing and go, he's savage. Yeah. Savage, warrior. To answer this question, people say sometimes but the way I'd answer this question is to say, when I came back to, because when the Twitter ban was on, I was off Twitter.
Yeah.
But when I came back to Twitter, first glance, I could immediately recognize it was a toxic space. It was just very clear to see. Oh wow, this is a toxic place. It's like you walk in if you like walk into a room and like people are fighting and like the energy is really bad, you tell immediately. And so here's the thing, it works because that's a part of human nature. It's a part of human nature. It's just like the artists are as guilty and as innocent as every single other person. Artists don't go to people's houses and say, take your phone and tweet.
That's not true. There are WhatsApp groups, not them. People on their teams.
Yeah, I mean, but
I have an article that I wrote where I spent.
But even on a WhatsApp group, even if I were to send you a message and say to you, please go and insult Uduak. Like even on WhatsApp,
I agree with you first.
The person, there's so much autonomy that the human animal gives up.
That's not true.
I'm telling you.
I feel my theory of life is there are alphas. There are only a few alphas. A lot of omegas and a lot of betas. You know the rules of like the wolf packs. There are people who are leaders. The problem of the world, especially in a country like Nigeria, is that there are a lot of betas who need an alpha. They need to follow something. They need to follow an ideology, somebody, a figure that they can adhere to, that they can defer to. That's how I see it. And I think I have a lot of credence to that because it doesn't make sense that a lot of people on social media can't form a mind of their own. They need to agree in packs.
Why do they? Whose fault is that?
It's human nature.
So, I agree with you first. We've agreed on step one. That it is human nature. And then now the question is, are the leaders then to blame if the humans want to follow? Do you understand my question?
True.
If people want to follow, if that's what they want, they need to follow. They're walking around like, who can we follow? Then they meet you. Then you're like, guys, I think we should go to the river. You're just telling your opinion. Then they're like, that is what we're going to do because we need a leader. Now they're following you. I say that sometimes the leader is just as much a victim as the followers are.
True.
Sometimes.
But sometimes the leader needs to also recognize that if I say A, they're going to say A. That's it.
Artists get attacked all the time, bro.
True.
All the time. They're human beings. They're also lashing out. The thing that makes Twitter so alive. You know, I had a tweet where I said it's trauma, human trauma clashing at scale. So everybody's like, did you say that about me? Why did you say that about me? Who do you think you are? Why do you? And it just expands and expands and expands and goes. So, but you know, you're right. Sometimes artists are, because again, I'm looking at it from my own perspective. There are artists that definitely stoke the fire.
But I'm not even blaming them sometimes because I also understand the perspective that they're coming from for doing that. It's just that it also establishes a rock culture of this world.
No. I agree with you. Nothing to.
Let's go back to Chuck Boy.
Would you also say the same thing about powerful writers and powerful journalists? Okay, great.
Are you calling me powerful?
Wow, whoa.
You're calling me powerful, I'll take it.
I'm just asking the question.
What's the question exactly? Let me get it.
My question is the same thing you said about artists, celebrities, about having the power and being able to say more. Or would you say the same thing about people in media that have following?
Yes, but the difference is the job of a critic and the conversations that trail it, especially in this world, is usually of attacks from other people, not endorsements. Does that make sense? For example, if an artist releases music, they have a lot of fans who are going to be following that conversation. But for a critic, the loudest noise you're going to get if they say something that's especially negative about an artist is a lot of negatives.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
And sometimes you see a lot of positives, but some other rival groups are going to come and split that.
So isn't the critic as well, like, aren't they a victim as well? Like, what I mean by this is that you say 1,000 nice things about me.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't even know this.
Yeah.
Then you say one negative thing, which is your opinion.
Yeah.
Now all the fans of that negative opinion, all the fans say, here's our leader.
Yeah.
Now you are a victim as well. Because you're the person that's out there by giving your opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And all I say is that, my point is to say that I think that famous people are not as in control as people think they are.
Mm.
You know, they're not as in control. To be a leader sometimes is a terrible thing.
It can be.
Yeah.
But I think that dynamic and some of those things might be different. But anyway, Chalk Boys.
Yes.
There's an album.
The Chalk Boy album.
Yeah.
It's a myth. I mean, the one in the past. Oh, okay.
In the past.
Okay.
Do you regret not making it at quote and unquote the right time?
I don't know. Oh, you mean maybe like earlier?
Yeah. Say 2010, 2011.
No, I don't know if it could have happened then. We're very focused, at least I was very focused on Jesse coming out, The Nice Prince coming out, then Brymo coming out. Then after that, Chairman album came out in 2014. By then Jesse had left, Brymo had left, and 2015, sorry. And then 2015 when Jesse came back, then we made the album.
Yeah.
Look, the biggest star we have now is going to be a spec one day to the biggest Nigerian artist. It's just the way things are. And looking back and being like, oh, we should have, I think maybe for an evening, maybe one evening people can sit down and reminisce. But I think that's completely the wrong spectrum to look at it through. Imagine being Ice Prince and being orphaned very young, making music, joining up with a bunch of guys from Jos, nowhere in Jos, Ricos, making it to Lagos, putting out a record, being a BET award winner, MTV. How could you look at that life and say, do you have any regrets? Right? There's a perspective there are regrets, but there's also a perspective where you have to just be grateful, and I think that's the lens I like to look at the world through.
Not from the imperfections and all that. Yeah. Let's go to Chocolate City. We leave Chocolate City. How did that conversation go?
Buy the movie. Buy the movie when it comes out. We definitely left. At the moment I left, it was definitely not
on good terms.
Not all vibes. But it was, in the larger context, I think I would applaud us of always having kept some sort of, decorum and respect for each other. Even early on when other artists were leaving. I mean, by and large, the complaints are really about, contracts and things like that. It's never really something very dirty or, and I think it was just time.
Totally.
Yeah.
Why was the conversation not as? How was it not vibes? Did you feel betrayed?
You asked two questions, so people are going to hear the last part and think I'm hesitating for the last part. You asked why was it not vibes? It was just, there were a lot of moving parts. I left immediately after soon after we'd done our agreement with Warner.
Yeah.
And even leaving, to clarify, so I still own a stake in Chocolate City. I still have business with them, even though I'm on my own label now. I sort of left my management function and sort of the day-to-day. I was a very integral part of what Chocolate City was becoming. And so that's what I mean by left, pulled out myself out of the machine. And it was just difficult conversations, a lot of disagreement at the time, as sometimes those things happen,
Do you consider yourself a part of the family?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, absolutely. I want to be respectful to, there's a new CEO now.
Who's your brother?
Yeah, Abuchi, and it's his team. He runs his team, he hires his staff. So when I say consider myself part of the family, I'm trying to be respectful to that. But yeah, I think that if you were to calculate today the equity contributed to what Your City is, I think that MI would be hands down by far the majority contributor, by far, maybe at least 70%, Yeah.
Anyway, fourth wave, right? Lamb people, the voice of the lamb. Luz was the oldest person. I know how he met Luz. I know how he met Black. I know how he met Q. I've heard the stories. How pivotal was having that connection between 2018 and 2022?
Good question. You're asking very good questions, man. When I think about it, when I receive the question, I think about it, I'm like, that's a good question. This is what I meant about hot interview. Before we started, I said I've not had a hot interview in a long time. But what I mean is new questions. It's always like the same. So first of all, let me highlight the key relationship there, and that's me and Luz Kenon.
Yeah.
Luz Kenon is my brother. He's wow.
Great man. I owe him an apology. I owe him something. Luz Abaga.
Yeah. He's a stand-up guy.
Yeah, yeah.
When people talk about stand-up,
straightforward,
that's Luz Kenon. And then AQ comes and meets me. I had known about AQ a little bit, but I had not really interfaced with him. I know he'd been accused of taking some shots at Jesse, early on. But I never keep those things. It doesn't mean anything to me. So I met AQ through Millie. AQ through Millie, yeah. When I met them, somebody had told me, had tried to spoil their name. I don't know if that makes sense. Those guys are not good guys, whatever. Beats by G and Q. And maybe they contributed in keeping us from not meeting again for a while, because actually the connection is really close, between them. But as fate will have it, circled round one day, Q and I sitting down, and he's just talking about all the stuff he's doing in the industry. And I was just like, man, this guy's so entrepreneurial. He done his own show. He'd rallied artists around. I'm like, man, what kind of support do you need? Now, when you're signing a record deal, you have to, in the back of your head, match the investment you're going to put against. And rap makes it difficult.
A lot of money.
Yeah, difficult. So I didn't feel comfortable at the time to do a record deal, because Q was also not a new artist. So you're talking about doing a deal for a record deal for a rapper that is established, but making a very niche sound. But I was like, we have to do business. And before he left, in fact, he didn't even ask for a record deal that day. He was just talking. When it was done, he's like, who you should really sign? You should sign Black Bones. So met Black Bones the next day. And the reason I say that is because that relationship also was very, very pivotal. The Black Bones AQ relationship. Because Black Bones is one of the most unique young artists who does the best thing for the team. It's very rare to see. Very selfless guy. And so, and then you just put Beats by J under that, and the rest is just magic, It's always very fun, competitive hip-hop energy when four of us are in the room. Very fun, very competitive.
Very hot too.
But no buts. Just, I'm very glad, to have gotten that phase. I don't know. I think it'd be very difficult for us to do another project together. Yeah, very, very difficult now. But, when I talk about Nigerian hip hop, You know, in terms of the crews that have done it, you know, I'm part of 2 legendary crews in two different eras, you know. So I'm really, really proud of that.
I guess you have to be grateful for that.
Yeah.
Most people don't last that long.
Yeah, facts.
Do you think you would have been different if you didn't have them for that spell, not that number of years?
I mean, they definitely allowed me, when I wasn't in making music space, to be seen. I don't know if that makes sense. And the friendships are like, Black Bones was already signed to Chocolate City, so I would have still worked with him. Yeah, I don't know honestly how to answer that question. I think it's a thing that happened. How will I put it? It was as today, when Black Bones is pushing the Lamb project, we all benefit off of it. Yeah. At the beginning, when MI says we're doing a cypher, they all benefit off of it. It just is, we all contribute at one point in time. So, but it was definitely something that allowed me to be visible at a time when I was not so interested in making music.
Are you depressed? Huh?
No, I don't think I've ever been depressed. And the reason why I want to say that is because I think depression is a real thing that needs to be properly categorized. No, just wanted to do other things, you know. I definitely had a lot of trauma around the music business because it's like business is cutthroat. I think that for creatives, for all the artists out there, because we move with our feelings first. Yeah. We trust, we love, we get hurt more. It's a hard truth to accept that business is cutthroat. Yeah. Business is about the bottom line. It is what it is. So, you know, yeah. So I can't remember the point I was making, but it was just about business is what it is. But I think we started from the Lamb. I think that's what led to this. But yeah, Lamb, like, look, man, rapping with AQ, you know, rapping with AQ is so gifted. I think the person that really puts the most pressure on everyone, honestly, I think is Black Bones. Because Black Bones normally does his verses first. And he normally sets the tone off right. Generally, most people are reacting to Black Bones. Yeah. Generally, most people are reacting to Black Bones. Yeah. I have been extraordinarily lazy throughout the Lamb process. Like, you will, they'll drag me in. But it's also because, that question you were asking me about being depressed. Oh yeah. No, business is cutthroat. Yeah, sorry, let me finish this. So they'll drag me into the project. I just wasn't interested in making music as much, or even in rapping. Like, when you rap, you're saying something about yourself, you know, about a statement. So I just wanted to, you know, start building tasks, working that out. But getting to rap with those guys, you hear a verse, you're like, man. I remember, because most of what I was doing those years was just ciphers. Yeah. I was just doing ciphers. Yeah. And every time I heard another cipher beat, I'm like, again, what am I going to say? Like, I feel like I did all my ciphering. Yeah. Like, Illegal Music 2. Yeah. Like, I've done it. Like, what am I going to say now? You know, you guys have heard me say it. You know what I mean? But it's still fun, you know, those verses are.
Where were you when you heard that Jay died?
Man. So, we were at the shoot for the cypher, and Q and Luce were setting it up, and Q said, Luce told me, man, Jay's sick. He's at the hospital, and they're trying to check for what it is. And I think someone said something about, they were talking about this in the sense about COVID, and we all were like,
oh my God.
We just had a moment. Man, Q really fought for his friend. Really. So over the next few days, we were at the hospital. Of course, with a very critical case like that, and around COVID, they're very careful with who they allow in. And I think the gist of his actual passing
on Saturday morning, the morning that the day I did that film, I was going to buy a jacket when Excel called me.
Yeah, I think it was the night before. I think it happened the night before because I think we went to see Q the night before when it happened. I think
Like Sunday morning.
Sunday morning, one of those nights. But it was just tough, man. And the thing, look, there are people that when they talk about Jay, they're gonna have been closer to him, and they'll talk from that perspective. The thing I always want to be the person saying is, what a loss.
Yeah.
What a loss to the music industry. Like, this is a guy that
It was just starting.
And he would have
put a lot of things on pressure.
Oh my God, because you talk about sampling, like now you have a record like Last Last, right? That's the guy. I mean, you put him up there with Just Blazes and in terms of High Zero to Final soul samples and Kanye's. So what a loss, man. His soul really rest in peace.
Are you planning to run for office?
No plans to run for office. Task is a vehicle to make the world easier for creatives. It's a very difficult world as a creative. How we do that? We're looking for ways to be an ecosystem builder and to invest in people, platforms, and technologies to help the creative economy grow. So what does that mean? People, it means that we're looking for young, talented people that we can connect to opportunities. A lot of the work we've done so far that has been visible to people is you see us connecting people that want to work in social impact. Yes, to join. Platforms as well. So we're going to roll out a few platforms very soon. One for comedians, young influencers, get on board, join a project, get out there. One for artists, one for producers, and technologies as well. We're invested in a few apps, early stages. This is a new path for me. It's what I really love to do. And I always love to do. I think Chocolate City, even though I was an artist and as part of it, it's part of an expression of my entrepreneurial spirit. And so Task, again, in early stages, we're still building and growing out there, but you can keep us at the back of your mind. We want to be a new kind of company in the entertainment space, and we want to help make the journey easier for even other practitioners that are there. We want to make it easier for labels, for distros, for DSPs, for everyone. If the ecosystem is healthier, then we can create more value and capture more value.
Do you think the name change is going to stick?
The Guy? Of course, yeah. Everybody calls me the Guy now. I don't know, man. I've tried. So far, it's going terribly. It's going really bad. But let's see. Everybody, please, my new name is The Guy. No more MI. Call me The Guy.
So if you call me MI, you answer?
Yes.
That's not it up.
Yes.
Oh my God. It's not impossible. I mean, Diddy keeps changing his name.
Yeah. My name is TG. Any other TG should leave and vacate the name. Any other TG. Any other TG out there.
TG is going to laugh at this thing. He's just going to come and laugh. Thank you very much for pulling through.
Yeah, of course, man. Of course.
When does the album drop?
It drops. When will people?
It depends. When does the album drop?
Exclusive. It's going to drop in August, for sure.
Wow.
For sure. Because I don't honestly have a final date.
Okay.
There may be a move. We have a date that we feel strongly about, but there may be a move.
All right, Chief. Thank you very much.
Blessings, King.